the Children International, are they here? We have goodwill message from Calped. I see Calped. Calped, are you here? And then we have goodwill message also from the Ministry for Local Government Affairs. We have goodwill message from Planning and Budget Commission. We have goodwill message from Katsipa. Of course, there is Space also and Lafia here on my list. And we have UNICEF, yes. But like I said, our House Committee members will come in last. And then we have also goodwill message from Ministry of Agriculture. I'm just saying this so that by the time the microphone gets to you, you should not be caught unawares. All right, so let me start firstly with Calped.
Morning, everyone. I apologize for being a bit late. It's not in us, but we're sorry for that. So for CalPE, on behalf of CalPE, we want to appreciate the organizers. That's our partners that are supporting this good initiative. We want to appreciate everyone of us that is here, and we wish us a happy and great deliberation. Thank you.
So I see I skipped one other very important coalition and group, the Network of Civil Society and Environment.
Thank you very much for the privilege to give this goodwill message at this very important activity. Joyful environment is everyone's business. You will either consciously work towards its sustainability or unconsciously destroy it. And we are all encouraged in our individual pockets to do our little bit so that we can make our environment a lot safer. If you would not want to do it for yourself, do it for the upcoming generation because it is from them that we have borrowed the resources that we are taking use of today. So today is another opportunity for us to come together as a group, as a team towards working towards environmental justice and environmental sustainability. And I believe that the good work that has been put into it as we validate it today will grant us more opportunity and understanding as to the best steps to take towards environmental sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The Kaduna Local Government Accountability Mechanism. Who is speaking for the LGAM?
We appreciate the presence of everyone here, and we thank God for this opportunity to be part of this process to ensure justice for the environment. This is very important engagement. This cannot be achieved without the local government itself being involved, because most of the activities, the deforestation and all of that happen down in the communities. So we pray for successful deliberation. Thank you.
Okay. And we have in our midst also one important coalition that I was already nearly missing. The Kaduna Social Protection Accountability Coalition.
Well, good morning, all. Yes, I represent CASPAC. I was not actually ready for this, but I believe we are all here to get the summation of the activity that has been carried out, and I believe that we are going to get information on new development and also make our own contributions towards validating what has been done. I just learned that every time there are new issues that come on the environment, and it is due to social activities mostly. So our contributions will be very much valuable here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do we have Save the Children in this room already? And we're still awaiting Lafia to join. I hear that the state team lead has taken it seriously to be in this meeting. So we will hear a goodwill message from UNICEF, and then we'll go down now to our government partners.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here, most especially because the issues on ground or the issue on ground is a very vital uh, issue that concerns all of us, even in the with the international community. And I hope and look forward to expecting, a very fruitful validation, just like uh, one or two of the speakers said, or the last speaker. I'm sure new things have come up that we would like to look at the work that has been done and to also add to it. We are aware quite of recent also with what is happening in our international community, which affects most of the um, civil societies and the NGOs around. The decision from America will also take that into consideration, and very sure will come out with a very valuable document that will make an impact in the lives of everyone in Kaduna State. And just to say that UNICEF, we are fully supportive in this work, especially, in the area of, environment, social protection, which is very relevant to our, society. So looking forward to a very fruitful time and participation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma. So I have Sema. Aha. We have the State Emergency Management Agency. When we talk about shocks, we talk about disaster, we talk about emergencies, they are the coordinating unit for it. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Good morning once again. I'm delighted to be here. As we start this engagement, I wish for us to have a fruitful one, coming from the disaster management aspect, where the extreme weather events continue to pose and climate change continue to pose havoc to disruptions in our climate and environment, causing one form of disaster or the other, where it impacts the lives and livelihoods of people. We are fully committed to bringing about um, um, more commitment to to see where we bring about climate change more active in the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma. Let's hear from Ministry of Agric.
Uh, Good morning, everyone. The Minister of Agriculture is delighted to be here to be part of this validation process. You know, environment is really an important part of agriculture. We're looking on how to bring about implementation of climate smart agriculture. We also want to bring resilience in the sector. You know, in agriculture, climate has a very big effect, even in the spread of transboundary animal diseases and other diseases of crops. So being part of this workshop is a great opportunity for us to contribute to the document. And I believe that all of us will work together so that we will bring out a document that will be very useful to the state and the country as a whole. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you so much, sir. So the microphone is traveling now to Ministry for Local Government.
Good morning once again. On behalf of the Ministry of Local Government Affairs, happy to be part of this engagement. And as we all know, everything happens at the community level, and then they form the bedrocks of our existence. All an environment, as all the speakers have spoken, is key. We can't live without an environment, and we need an environment that is friendly, resilient to these climate changes. We at the Ministry of Local Government are fully committed in ensuring that anything that will bring positive impact to our people in the community levels will be supported. And I hope at the end of the validation, we'll have a document that will be easily comprehensible and implemented by the cross section of the implementers. I wish was a happy validation, and thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I hope all of you were here when he mentioned that his director budget, Ministry for Local Government Affairs. I don't want anybody to forget that. So that as much as possible, these local solutions that we're looking for, when it requires financial backing, if you connect with Lima, all the local government councils in Kaduna State should respond. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. We at the Planning and Budget Commission, we are delighted to be here. This issue of climate that we can learn and also pick out the positive aspect of it, leverage on the issues for development and progress in the states as the case may be. So we are glad to be here to join hands to deliberate and also to contribute where necessary. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. You know, Irima is in M&E unit. So every time you see that eyes and ears vehicle going around to check on projects, I say if Irima does not clear you, payment delay. Eh? Madam, let's have your good message.
I'm overwhelmed this morning to join the development partners on validation of community engagement. As you all know, Social Investment Protection Agency is an organization that deals with the poor and vulnerable in the society to change their livelihood. And we are here this morning to join the discussion that will yield positive change in order to eradicate poverty in our society. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. I can imagine if all of our media partners were here, how their ears will have picked in these statements that you've made. It's like a headline. Let's also hear from the ministry that is having social development as part of their core responsibility. We used to have a ministry for women affairs. We used to have a ministry that was targeted for youth development. Cool. Now we have a ministry for human services and social development, which embodies quite a lot. The last time I checked, this ministry is also having the registry of cooperatives. They are also having the registry for community development association. So whatever we're talking about community, I think this ministry is actually at the center of it. So let's have your good message, sir.
Good morning, all. Sorry for coming late. due to the change of the venue. I was in Hotel 17 for more than 2 hours. I don't even know the venue has been changed. I have to call Rebecca so that she's the one that directed me here. I'm Umar Abubakar Mohammed, representing Ministry of Human Services and Social Development, Kaduna State. Ministry of Human Services is the model ministry in social protection because it's part of the mandate of the ministry. So, and I'm happy to be part of my colleagues here in order to discuss regarding the climate change related to response to shock and social protection. And we all know that climate change is inevitable in society. So, and I'm very glad to be part of the team that will discuss and come out with a robust document that will assist the needy people in Kaduna State. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now we will go to the respectable gentlemen here who were here earlier than most of us. And I'm also looking forward to having their own ministries that they have oversight functions over, that is health and environment, to be in this hall before we go far into this meeting. So let's have your goodwill message. We appreciate your participation, especially because from the very beginning, when we started sharing invites for this engagement, we have seen that level of participation. None other person than the chair of the House Committee on Health, who is also here today again with us, was with us in the earlier conversation. And then we also had the deputy chair for environment join us in that meeting when we were in Zaria. That was because the chair was at COP 29. And we're happy now that he has the opportunity to grace this deliberation. He has also made it mandatory to be here himself. In fact, he got to this hall earlier than myself. So thank you very much for coming. Let's have your goodwill message, sir.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Like it was rightly said, my full names are Honorable Haruna Barnabas. I represent the good people of Kauruchawe constituency in the Kaduna State House of Assembly and the Chairman Committee on Health. Oftentimes, when people travel, they come back to say, I developed either cold or I got ill. And people say, maybe it's because of the change of weather. Hajia here spoke something and she mentioned the issue of wealth. And people say health is wealth. So if this meeting today is to rub minds in a way to bringing down the effect of environment on health, for me, it's a place I need to be. So my wish is at the end of the day, we'll have a deliberation that will indeed do justice to that which we say we are here to do. Like the PAMSEC health will always say, I expect that we respect each other and speak as adults so that we, in good time, do what we're here for and leave for other engagements. Thank you very much to the organizers, and thank you very much to participants who created time or make out time to be a part of the discussions. Thank you very much, and thank you very much once again.
Let me stand on the already established, respected protocol. Good morning, all. As earlier introduced, I am Usman Nanlami Stingo, the member representing Kajuru State Constituency in the State Assembly, and Chairman House Committee on Environment and Natural Resources. When we talk of environment and natural resources, our stay here tells the kind of environment we are living in. whether conducive or otherwise. So it is in our homes, in our offices, and so on. I come from Kajuru, one of the local governments being seriously devastated ecologically by deforestation. When the person running down the program made mention of charcoal production, I think Kajuru and Kachia local governments would face a serious problem in the nearest future, except something significantly is done. To the organizers of this program, I do not know what the community would have been without the impact of the community CSOs. Because what the CSOs are doing in aiding governance cannot overemphasized. There are many areas where we in the assembly have our attentions drawn by the CSOs, without whom our constituents will be in serious problem. So in as much as this is a program to validate something that has been planned since June last year, I call on all of us here to give in our very best to ensuring that the documents they will come up with at the end of the day will not only help environment in Kaduna State, but it will help us all in Nigeria and the world at large. The effects of climate change are not relative. They are practical, they are absolute. We feel it, we see it, and the likes in various ways. And that is why all hands have to be brought on deck from whatever ministry, from whatever area, to ensuring that this document is a document to beat. And I pray that as we do so, the Creator will clap for us for maintaining the environment that He Himself created before He created man. Thank you very much, as I wish us all fruitful deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now that we know all of the people in this room, let us have the welcome address from the very person who is coordinating this entire engagement from the civil society side. And that's talking about Sumaya Abdullahi Hussein. She is the co-chair for strengthening social protection systems. Sumaya, now you know the people to welcome in this room. You have had their portfolios, you have listened to introduction, and you have also listened to them acknowledge strongly that this meeting is very important to each and every one of us in the state. And may I also say that when you go online now and browse this and look for any document that speaks to this very thing we're developing, it's not on the internet yet. Thank God. So nobody will come and bring something that is from another space across the world to domesticate here for us. Everything we are doing is reflecting our own peculiarities and our reality. Sumaya? Thank you.
Um, Thank you very much, our moderator. Welcome once again, everyone, and good morning. Even though we've already taken our, yeah, welcome. So welcome, everyone. our partners from the civil society, the government, and everyone. Thank you so much for your commitment and for coming here today to join us for this important two-day validation. It's a pleasure on behalf of the Technical Working Group on Strengthening Social Protection Systems of the Open Government Partnership to welcome you. And I'm also glad to say that the technical working group this is one of our key milestones to deliver in the State Action Plan 3 of the Open Government Partnership, and that this framework is first of its kind, like we've been hearing from the consultant and also the moderator. I'm also happy with the goodwill messages I've heard, the commitments there, how important this meeting is for us and the community. And one thing that have made this framework being different is because it is about more of the community. We're not saying that it's not a government-owned document, but we want to see how ownership of this document is going to be at the community level. And I hope that, so the process started since 2024. I'm sure most of us here were part of from the first beginning of the zero draft to all the kind of engagements we've been having. And that's because we want to see that this framework is valid, this framework is applicable to the communities, and also this framework aligned with the current realities. We're not just talking about papers. I have also recognized people at the community level. We have community-based organizations here. We have youth groups. We have CDC champions. We have social protection. We have environment representation here. We have the academia. We want to see how all of you will tell us what structures and approaches we are to engage, from the early warning side, from what you're doing down to the communities, how you engage them and everything. And at the end, we hope to have a document where each and every one of us can look at and say that we are proud to bring this out for Kaduna. Thank you so much. I really would like to also say that we anticipate 100% of your maximum cooperation, participation, and everything. When we break out into our sessions, like we said, it's a technical session. So we're expecting that more thinking, ideas, and ensuring that we all do this thing together. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sumaya. There are just two items that we would pursue quickly, and I hope the second of that will be the composition of the groups. Is that okay, Dr. Okay? Before we break out for tea, so that when we come back from tea break, we are just going to get our hands dirty. I'm saying that positively anyway. Now, a little overview of what we have done. We started this engagement by meeting state actors and non-state actors to discuss on what the real issues facing our environment around climate change and social protection, what they are, the wide range of them all. We also considered the institutions that are responsible for providing a response or the other, the institutions that are required to ensure capabilities even for communities. And then we went down to identifying this across sectors. For education, what are the issues? Climate change related, social protection, shocks related. We did the same for environment, we did the same for health. And then we also had others around agriculture, because the socio-economic uh, main source of livelihood in Kaduna, based on survey data, proves that agriculture is the mainstay of our economy, right? Is it true? I know mining is coming up now, but agriculture is the one that is putting money into government coffers for Kaduna State more than any other sector. Now, we also have been able to identify what some of these issues are. Like I said, we got down to really consider where these stakeholders can be met. Where are they? And we consider that they are all in the physical space, they are also in the virtual space. We now see that most of our ministries, departments, and agencies have email addresses, they're having websites, they are having Facebook accounts or pages We are seeing them on Twitter, X. Even the State House of Assembly is there too. And most of the time, you don't need to go there now. You just go there to the social media and you're interacting with the institutions you're supposed to. So we got down to the recent engagement where we were able to bring out some more framing for this document from what we started, which was a zero draft now. We now had a draft that was developed, and this draft focused on why do we even need to have a community engagement framework in the first place. We also consider what the objectives for this framework should be. We were also able to draw down on key guiding principles. If we are going to be engaging, then there must be some certain principles for engagement. What are they? We have quite a few of them, or better yet, quite a lot that were gathered, and we have been able to ensure that there is no duplicity now in what we are having as a final draft. And then we also identified the enabling laws, policies, and reforms in Kaduna State. Do we have policies that support us to have a community engagement framework? Do we have laws that identify that this community engagement framework is necessary? And then we're able to draw down on all of that. So we went further to validate also the channels for communication, the channels of access to information rather, and we saw a very wide outlay of means of accessing information in Kaduna State that is guaranteed. Most of the time, when you say you want to engage, you cannot engage from an informed perspective if you are also not informed about what is happening, right? And then we were able to identify strategies for the implementation of this community engagement framework. Quite a lot of issues were also identified. And we are going to interact with all of those findings as we break out in the groups, I'm sure. And that is where we have it for now. Now, we have also gone to conduct what we call focus group discussions. And what we are finding from our focus group discussion is that I don't know who knows Kaduna Environmental Protection Authority. Who has heard about that agency in this room? KEPA. Okay, but KEPA. Eh? When I said Environmental Protection Authority, you missed it. So KEPA, if you've heard about KEPA. Now, I have just traveled from a zone where there are only 2 staff of KEPA. Just 2. Only 2 persons. The whole zone. So, and I remember Network of Civil Society and Environment had visited KEPA at the point in time. Now, I'm just using this as a case study so that we understand why this is very important. As at 2016, 2017, KEPA had less than 91 staff all across the state. Fast forward to now, retirement has happened, and then the numbers have dwindled down. So it's very easy for me to identify and see a KEPA staff that is traveling from Kafanchan and coming to Kauru to just come and inspect. Now I went to this KEPA office to also ask them, how do you now interact with people? Prior to now, KEPA would have direct linkage with village heads, with district heads, and they will have information that is relevant within time to respond to issues. Do those linkages still exist? What we have found out is no. Now, irrespective of a community, irrespective of education and status, we go to communities that have professors, that have seasoned civil servants, serving and retired. But when it comes to issues of governance, engagement, they can only but pick up their phone and make a call to a familiar person within a ministry, but have no pathway of engaging, bringing government closer to the people, having the issues that concerns the community, identified and commonly agreed or shared with the MDA that is concerned, to the point that responses and actions that are required to be taken are taken. In fact, you go to communities now, is a civil servant that might even tell you, "Kai, Allah, wannan abin da kuke magana fa ba haka ba damu da shi fa." He discourages. Why? Because he does not understand broadly beyond what he has on his desk. You also say, oh, maybe it's because of education. You meet the enlightened and educated people, they are just happy that the bulk of the challenges is not at their own doorpost. So if he's going past a heap of waste dump site, or waste area, or waste disposal area that is not close to his house, but he's actually going just past it, and that thing is there for 5 years and counting. He's just happy that he's not living close to it. But about how do we evacuate? How do we get our community to begin to take responsible action concerning waste generation and even disposal is not something that any of us seem to be disposed to, irrespective of education. So, in other words, the capabilities are lacking in a lot of areas. The traditional institutional system that we had prior to 2015 is not what we have on ground today. The numbers that we had in the public service is not what we have today. In fact, a lot of us don't even know where to report issues that are challenging to our communities at all. At most, because we are not informed, at most we just critique, insult, in fact, tell everything that we want to say, government is this, is that. But nobody is taking ownership that I am also supposed to take responsibility around this. So, at community level, there are gaps. Institutional capabilities and capacity, we also see that there are gaps. Ministry of Environment, sir, exists in Kaduna. But when you go to each and every local government in Kaduna State, especially these remote parts, it's nearly non-existent except for that staff from KEPA that will come around and probably mark your building up or development in green. So certainly we are getting into more challenges by the day because we do not have this engagement framework, or better yet, a document that enlightens, empowers the people, particularly in the kind of responses that they are going to get, the kind of feedback that they should demand from public institutions. And what is the consequences? We have large-scale deforestation. So I passed Kajuru this morning. The bags that were carried yesterday night of charcoal is nothing compared to what is being gathered now, as at this morning. And from the hour of 5:36, you begin to see all of this movement happen. We are seeing rain fell yesterday around Zangon Kataf to Kachia, I think through the night. But just stepping into Kaduna is as if I'm in a border part of Nigeria. So the challenges around climate change that we're talking about is affecting livelihoods, is affecting our own personal security, health-wise, food, name it. So we have gotten to the point of identifying the main ingredients for our community engagement framework. But we need to fuse it now into the system that can help make, or better yet, sustain governance in Kaduna State to be accountable, competent, and responsive. That said, I have given you an overview of the documents that we're going to be engaging. The details are contained, like I said in the draft, that in the course of time, Dr. Kichuku here will continue to highlight and draw our attention to be more specific and intentional to understand that what we are doing is not for us who are informed in this room, but it's for also community actors. In fact, public servants are civil servants that are not within the space of power. When I say the space of power, for instance, somebody who is working at a local government level, for instance, will have to bring reports to Kaduna and before the decisions are taken and then he's conveying that back. However it is, I want to appeal to all of us in this room. Let us speak for those people who we know are powerless without a framework like this. So, Dr. Oke, you can now go ahead and share us into those groups, and then we will go directly to take our breakfast, and then when we come back, it's just walk, walk, and walk. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. No, plug this one. Thank you so much. First, I must commend Oga Danjuma. He has actually made the job very easy for all of us. He has been able to explain what they have done, and there are key things he also brought out, which I'm also going to project before we start sharing ourselves, because like I said, we have come here to do those. So the first thing, which also came out from the engagement I've so far had, is the impact of climate change on several sectors or several ways of our life. First is agriculture. I think every literature, every data you have, you will definitely see agriculture. When it comes to Nigeria anyway, when it comes to Africa, all of us know that. So by the time we are going out now to do our sessions in the technical group, we should have it in our mind. What are those impacts of climate change on agriculture? Now, number two is health. It's an area that has not really developed in so much when it comes to, I think UNICEF is here too, so UNICEF can also bear some. It is an area that a lot of researchers have been trying to connect, but it is happening. We begin to see the impact of what? Climate change on health, when it comes to health delivery and the rest of them. Then when it comes to environment, we are looking at resilience. We are looking at the build, the roads we are applying. So what are happening? The erosion and the rest of them. So those are the things we also have to have in the back of our mind. Then education is also another area that everybody is trying to say, okay, what are the direct impact of climate change on education? We are beginning to see it. People are now beginning to talk about how the impact of climate change has actually affected enrollment. Has it been proven? Is also something we have to talk about so that we can come up with something that will help us strengthen the framework we are developing. And then livelihood. Livelihood. We are talking about how do we live our life. The poverty. We talked about this issue of charcoal. Is an example. It's just one that we picked out. There are a lot. So when we're implementing something like this, what happens to those that are deriving their livelihood from this type of practice? What do you do with them? And remember that most of those guys are not on this table. So they are not here to participate. They are not here to also talk about what they think. So while we are doing all those things, another thing that should begin to come secondly into our mind is climate migration. I don't know if we have heard about it. It's something that has continued to cause conflicts and violence, including the so-called herdsmen attacks on our farms and the rest of them, right? It's also an area that in Kaduna State, I think people should also begin to, begin to think, what are the issues that can come out of this climate migration that are actually unsustainable? Then we have the diseases which is connected to health. We have the loss of livelihood. We have the damages and emergencies. We have disruption of supply chains that also throws our food prices into something else. So, okay. So, still go back to that. So we also have the issue of unavailability of resilient structure. When we are looking about those resilient structure, you build roads without enough drainages and the rest of them. So what happens? So those are the things we should be thinking when we go into this technical sessions. Then the next one, after we have now looked at this impact, the next thing is the governance complexities. This is where the issues are. We have known these issues, but the problem is how do we solve it? And there are a lot of complexities in them. So we also have to begin to think about those complexities. What are the gaps? Do we have adequate capacity to handle this? Or if we don't have, what are the capacity gaps? Can we really augment and the rest of them? Then we also need to think about policy making and implementation. You make policies in Kaduna, which is the capital of Kaduna State, and these policies, there's no step down to the local government or even step down to the communities. So it will not work. So we also begin to think about that. Another thing is, how do we now get communities to participate so that we can achieve inclusiveness in whatever we are doing? Participation is key, even though it's vague, both in definition and implementation. So everybody will say is participatory. So participatory of what? Of who? Right? So another thing we begin to talk about is motivation. What will motivate somebody to actually get involved in environmental issues? How can somebody be motivated now to say, okay, I want to get involved and then, abide by this year policy and then, and follow the law that you just made? How do the communities own these policies you are making? And how can these policies be legitimate at the community level? Those are the questions I think we should also be thinking as we are going to this. The other thing is the role of subnational and local governments. What are the role of subnational and local governments? Then finally, financing. I'm also happy that somebody highlighted what is happening today in the development sector, where US is freezing it and the rest of them. So you now see that the finance will be shrinking. How can we be innovative to finance most of the things we think we are going to do to have impact? So let's go. So while we are doing that, another thing that we should that will guide us well to answer most of these questions I just raised is one, identify the impact of that climate change, right? Then the first thing we have to do is to do what? Who are the affected? Is it only me and you sitting here, or are there other people in the communities that are also affected? Who are the affected? And who should we engage? Very, very key. People will say, okay, let's do stakeholder analysis. It's very important. Who do we engage? Are we just going to engage the gatekeepers, or are we also going to engage the most affected? Because if you engage the gatekeeper will tell you, no problem, I will take care of it. But the most affected is not even, it doesn't even know what you are talking about. And then how do we engage? Those are the things that we should be in our mind while we are doing those things. Let's do the last, all right? Okay, so having tried to answer those questions about engaging and who do we engage, the affected and the rest of them. So how do we communicate? There are some people coming up now and say, look, we don't need to speak too much English when it comes to climate change, because even the people in the communities don't even understand the technical, the scientific jargon. Yeah, I agree with that. Because by the time you come up with those scientific jargons, nobody understands. Even some of us will not understand, right? So how do we really communicate? People are talking about local languages, using posters to communicate. Imagine it and then try to So what channel? Is it to go with newspaper? Is it to go with radio? Is it to go with the local town criers and the rest of them? So what is the role of local knowledge? Climate change did not just start today. So our forefathers had actually been managing some of this. So how did they manage it? We really need to learn. So those are the things that we also have to think when we are thinking about this framework. Another thing is context. Copy and paste. One thing with a lot of policymakers is they pick policies maybe made in Brazil because they call it global south and bring it into Nigeria. I'll give you an example. The famous conditional cash transfer. It was actually copied from South America. It succeeded in South America. It was very, very successful in South America. But because we didn't contextualize it, to really understand our context, we just pasted it and we brought it in Nigeria and pasted it. Believe me, CCT, as far as I'm concerned, it didn't even score up to 50% when it comes to performance. So how do we contextualize? How do we make it context-based and not to generalize? So if we are developing an engagement framework for Kaduna that we implemented here, is it better for us to go and copy what is done in Lagos? No, we have to develop it, bearing in mind that this is Kaduna State and we are developing for Kaduna. That is context. The other thing is knowledge versus awareness. That I am aware of climate change does not mean I know about it. We should also have that at the back of our mind. So as we develop this, do we really know it or are we just aware of it? So those are the key things I think we should be conversant with as we are going into this technical session. Then Oga Danjuma will also help me because he knows almost everybody here so that we don't pack the key professionals in one group. So we can actually split. Danjuma, you will help me so that we can split people. Maybe we'll just have like 5 groups. Okay. So you just help me do that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Okay. And like I said, these are already some of these things we have already identified them. But what we are doing, as we said earlier, is validation. So we have we want to take the market uh markets of course you know where you are already. Sorry ma, the last time I knew you were Ministry for Local Government. Where are you now, if I may ask? You are still there. Great. But still around education? Gender. Ah, you are cross-cutting, so you are going to be a roving ranger. So, Ministry of Agri, please put up your hand. I need the attention of all of us in this room. We are doing the allocation for groups now. Hello, everyone. Zinta and his friend, please just adjourn this meeting. In the next 3-4 minutes, you have it. So please put your hands up, please. Agric, put your hand up properly so that they see you. Magban, that's your group, right? Where is the guy from agriculture? I saw Jonathan inside this room now. Yes, where is Jonathan? Okay. All right. So markets, that's also your group. We'll be reducing that hankali. Now, Ambassador, yes. So, Ambassador, you are going to be together with the SBMC, Open Gov Youth Hub. Which of your cohorts do you have in this meeting? All on social protection. Only social protection. Okay. So, how many do you have from social protection? How many of you? Only you from the youth hub? Okay, so you stay with the group on environment. For the guys in social protection, one of you please join the education cohort. Um, we have two persons I heard from academia. Hasu, how many of you? Two. Let me see your hands up, please. Is there any discipline in particular you're interested in? Environment? And how about him? It's okay, non-academic. So, sir, we will have you go to that group on agric. Are we section co? You are going to work today with the health group. We are going to tap from your resourcefulness as well from MSCH. Then let's have environment. Sorry, sir, I've not forgotten you. Okay, I've not forgotten you. I'm coming. Okay, then take your soul. Okay. So where are you from? Youth Council. Okay. We'll get to you shortly. UNICEF, can we put you in social protection or you want to roam around all the groups to know what is happening everywhere? To roam around all, right? Okay. Madam, you know you didn't introduce yourself when we were doing introduction. You stepped out. But we're happy you came back. Where are you from? All right. So environment. Let me see all the environment actors here because I know there are a lot of them in this room. Yes. Uh, so here is the flag for environment. This guy here, I wanted to say the one with the glasses. All of them are wearing glasses. Are we together? Wherever he goes, all the people in the environment, please follow him. Eh? Wherever he goes. So for the civil society guys in environment, sir, you are going to be in health too. Environment, NCSE, please join this group. Please join this group. Now, youth council, please, you go to social protection systems. That's the technical working group. That's the group you are going to join for this session. Catsmark, I don't need to say. So, how many people do we have now for health? Just for health. So when you sit around your groups, now the only two persons that have not also distributed. When the groups are so because I'm thinking you should go to agriculture. Go? You should go to agriculture. Yeah, all the other 23, all the other 21 to 22, 21 have that department. So let's have you in agriculture. Yerima, yes, you can. Yerima, planning and budget. Planning and budget. Is social protection under your department? So we are going to go into social protection. Madam, you are going to education. Thank you. Health. Um, to ke da kike gender yanzu. Ko ba na son aje ke kusa da wannan. A kai na, ai yakin ba zai wannan ba. Kai da where are you? Where eh? CDC da kai na. Community based organization ne. Eh? Eh? Community based organization. Kema community based organization. So what we are going to do, what we are going to do, sir, okay, listen now, please join the social protection group. Okay, je ka join in education. Education. A kuna da yawa. Kuna da yawa. Sir, please, you are also going to join Agric. Agric, yes. 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 So, now that we have apportioned, we also are not a group. So what we are also going to have is for you to now tell them what template you want them to fill. Based on this thing we share. Okay, so what are they going to be working on? That's something that this thing. So each of the groups are going to work on. Look, each of the groups have like how can we that's right. So how do we so you are now going to draw the so that shows them
Is
clearly this
exactly
is
what we
exactly
are
what
going
they
to
are
do.
going to put.
So we can do that. Then another thing we should do, somebody just bring my attention to monitor. Yeah, we don't get it.
Okay, no problem. All right. So let me allow you to set up the no,
The
yes,
template,
the
yeah?
template.
you.